Greetings, Grandmaster Amon Ra here, coming to you live from Mombasa, Kenya, late in the evening. It's been a minute since we did a video. It's mainly because I'm still trying to the ancestors. I'm calling them the ancestors because these thoughts popped into my head from somewhere, and I'd like to believe that this wisdom has come from a higher source. So, always giving homage to the ancestors, I wanted to say that this information has come from them. And I have gotten a lot of information over the years in the same type of format. Greetings, Lance Kelly. How are you, my dear? You're the first one in. I just wanted to come on here. I haven't had any final conclusions on that information, but I did want to kind of break it down to let you know how important it is. Now, as most of you know, I've been living here for 22 years, and I've been doing business here all through that time. And I have made lots of money, and then at other times I've made very little money. It just goes up and down depending on, various circumstances. So like now I'm I'm in my 60s now, and I'm always here telling you about securing incomes, but like what the ancestors told me, there's no such thing as secure incomes. There's no such a thing as that. Anything can happen. When we're trying to look at things from a Black American point of view of coming from one place to another and being okay financially, this is wrong. This is a misnomer. Even in the U.S., last year, I think it was 400,000 people didn't get their online payments. There was some sort of glitch in it. There was a period of time people had to wait because their online payments didn't go through. Of course, we also know about when the government shuts down because they can't agree on a budget, services get cut off. So when we really look at this thing, although the United States has tried, today more than ever, there is no such thing as a secure income. So I was wrong. Young Tin again, greetings. Alan Can, hello, my brother. This idea of come to Africa and secure your income and then you'll be okay. I was wrong. I have to admit that. Your ancestors basically woke me up in the morning and told me, stop saying that. Larry J. Blige, how are you? Is that Blige? Yeah. Jumbo. See Jumbo. It says Jumbo. You're supposed to say see Jumbo. But on the ground, everybody just says Jumbo, 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 So that's something you might realize about things that I know for a fact by living here and being on the ground. I want to give you this information. Now, the secure income wrong, because we're trying to understand how do they make money in Africa? How can I go to Africa and make money? And I submit to you that we've been doing this all wrong. We've been coming through with a mindset of the United States, American mindset, trying to fit it into an African concept. And what was revealed to me, and I'm going to share this with you, nobody else is going to share this with you, or really can, because You just, you just have to be, all the things have to be in the right place. You have to have somebody who understands both cultures, that, somebody who is out on the ground daily, to come back and then be able to. I'm in a unique position for that. It reminds me, and I don't want to go off on a tangent story, but I wanted to make this story. He was voted Instructor of the Year in 1984. I was a green belt at the time. Oh, damn. There goes our connection. And I trained with him every day. I mean, not every day, but every other day. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail for 10 years. Except for 6 months when I went to police academy. But other than that, I was always in class. And I knew every move he made. I see new people coming in, learning for the first time. I'm helping them sometimes. And his movements were extremely fast. And so he was teaching back knuckle over and under. And I've seen him teach it 100,000 times. And, I'm sitting there one day while he's going through the motions. And actually, I wasn't sitting down. I'm just kind of, looking at him, watching him, saying, I've heard this a million times. Oh, our line is not going to let us have a stable content. And he was teaching it flat-footed, because he teach it so many times. He stepped flat on the ball of the back foot, but the front foot was flat on the floor. And then he did the movement, in high speed. And for the first time, I really noticed he was on the toe of the front foot. He was on both toes when he did it, fast and, in real time. But when he was teaching with the ball of the foot down. So I had been training with him for all these many years, but I just happened to catch this. And, I watched it again and again, and I realized that was one of the keys to his success as a fast fighter. When he fights on the ball of both feet. When he teaches with the front foot flat. So my point is that, it takes a certain person to be at all these points to come to get to these revelations. And so I say I'm unique in the position now that I'm in. So to get and walk down the road and watch the people pass by. I think you've seen me do a video where people are going to work every day. Oh, then the connection. I have a short video. And this particular time, after I was given this revelation, I went out and I started looking at everybody in the form of not that they were going to work, but in the form that they were hustling. They were hustling. I mean, I'm going to try to make you understand, like, of the people that I was looking at, busy doing their things, going to work, whatever, doing transport business, bringing in foods and products. They were hustling. These people, if you can understand me, they don't have paperwork. They say, this is my job. They don't have application. They don't have no ID saying I'm a fruit vendor. I'm a border driver. The Africa is not like that. Even with my work in the lab, I came up with a contract agreement that they never signed. You see? So it's a matter of how much you hustle and how much. It's a matter of how much you hustle. And when you look at it from that point on, a contract agreement, there's really nothing like that in most areas in Kenya and in Africa in general. There's no, there's no suing of people, no taking people to court. This is like Jewish things, where they always have to watch out for their bag because it could be sued here and there. This is America, but it's not like that in Africa. A handshake is suffice. A handshake is suffice. Your relationship with the person is suffice. Now, I talked to Kenyans and they've been in business, and this guy was telling me about the taxi business, how he gave one guy his taxi, and the guy was supposed to bring the money in the night, every night, and he didn't come for 2 days. and he had to track the guy down. The guy who was taking the taxi, driving it all over the place, picking up, making money as best he could, extra money, because he had school fees to pay. Is what he told the guy. He wouldn't answer the phone when the guy called him. He was just out with that guy's taxi. And, words were exchanged, whatever, the car was taken, these things are there. That's no doubt. And when we look at it from an American standpoint, we would want to say, I'm going to sue you for this and that, But Africans are really forgiving. And, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's there. And so I'm trying to say that I used to walk down on that main road and see all the people running around, busy going to work. But now when I look at it, I say they're busy hustling. Any which way they can make money, that's what they're doing. And I submit that coming to modern Africa, we can't look at this as like, I got to find employment, I got to start a business, I got to do this. It's just a matter of seeing where you can fit in on a hustle and then expand from that hustle and make money from that hustle. Now, the end game is not that you secure income. The end game is that you keep hustling as much and make as much money as you can apply, you can supply it, and then, wow, you start making money. It could be completely different from the business that you're working in or created. But it's not about securing the income. For you young brothers out there, it's about the hustle. It's about the hustle. And I submit that the hustle is so much more open in Africa. Because if you was in the U.S., you still got to go out and apply for jobs. And what that's the hustle. That's the hustle. And I'm saying if you hustle in the U.S. or if you hustle in Africa, the end results are the same. You will start making money and you will find ways to make more money. What Kenyan? Otherwise, I wanted to say, all Africans, we love you no matter where you are. Yes. I know my African brothers are out there and supporting me. I don't see you guys disagreeing with me when I say these things. But a lot of you Kenyans out there and Africans in general, where you are, where you go outside and you see that, where people are busy doing their day to day. And if you really look at them, how many of them got like a official title of what they're doing? If this lady is selling fruits on her head, she don't have a permit to do that. It's not like only so many of them can do it. It's just a hustle where you can make money. Now, government does get involved. African governments are trying to regulate things. They do a poor job. Africans know how to skirt that, dealing with the government in certain areas. And others, they just, abide by what the government wants. And, that's just ongoing even in the U.S., even anywhere you go. But it means nothing if you're not hustling. So that is part of the hustle. How are you going to deal with government regulations? How are you going to deal with the tax man? How are you going to deal with business partners? You have to keep moving. You have to keep on, you have to have a lot of energy. And you focus that energy into the idea of hustling to make money and looking for money, then I can't help but tell you, you'll be successful. And you'll be more successful in the United States, in Kenya today than you would be in the United States, simply because the U.S. economy has all kind of problems. Despite what Trump is saying, that a lot of the things he's saying is just completely not true, just to confuse us. He's saying we have the most vibrant economy in the world in America, and that's not true. He's saying that there are more jobs available now than ever before. That's not true. And time and time again, the economists have come up and showed that what he's talking about is just not true. And that is what I wanted to come out and say today, because I know a lot of us are just like, what to do. How do they work? When you come out, you see people running around busy going, it's like or the chaos like you see in Nairobi. Just a matter of hustling. And some of like there's some Kenyans, they might go out here and hustle and then find a breakthrough where they can make a little side money, and then they keep it to themselves. They don't like go out and announce it. They quietly go ahead and buy the product thing or whatever it is, get the service ready, and they just keep it to themselves, and then step out there and sell one man show. Get it from me, get it from me. There are Kenyans that are like that. Then there are other Kenyans that are pretty much smarter, and they know that the only way to make more money is to get people to work for you or with you. And you'll find that in Kenya, but you cannot really find that in the United States because the government is against blacks congregating in groups of any kind without them. They must infiltrate those groups, and this is why we weren't able to succeed. Now, mind you, if you have 400 years of I dedicate myself to help blacks. I dedicate myself to work with blacks to stop the injustices. You just don't see that, considering that they're the far majority of the country. So though they may not say I don't see it, racism, I don't understand. I'm not in general, because I can't really think of anybody that's jumped out and said that. Charlene, this is how I feel. It's a free country. It's my country. Okay, which one is your country? Is you talking about the United States or are you talking about Kenya? Because if you're talking about America, America is not your country. And you can, when you look at the history of how you've been treated, how your people have been treated, how black people have been treated. So that is my point. And like I said in the title, we're trying to get a clearer understanding of the situation of making money in modern Africa or anywhere. Because everywhere you go, you can apply this hustle mentality, and you'll find that you'll get opportunities. Whereas, like I said, in the United States, there's racism to deal with. There are red lines, black codes. These are areas where you cannot make money. And I know many of us who have been looking for employment. Many a time you go to a company and you walk up to the door, you can almost know if they're going to hire blacks or not hire blacks. And this is unfortunate if you want to believe that America is your country. You just don't have that in Africa, and you really spare your children a lot of heartache and pain that they have to go through that same lesson. Now I'm seeing, a lot of these content providers out there, and there are still talking about the black community, and they're still talking about black people must unify, and we should meet together, and we should discuss. We should do these things. But you see, nothing ever comes of that. It is not something that's new in 2020 or in 2019. You can go back every decade and you can see they can start something, but it always ends. What happened to Marcus Garvey's movement, Malcolm X's movement? What happened to the nation? There is no positive activity coming from these organizations. And I submit to you because they're infiltrated. Yes, Lance Kelly, I'm saying these things, and I'm saying it in a calm voice, and some people don't really get the point. If you don't have a black community, seriously, how can you even say you're a people? If you're scattered all over, so they're just telling you as an individual, you're a black American, and you have no power, no connection, And as I stated before, to unite means to lose freedom. If you come together and let black people need to, want to be unified, you see, and that is very hard for black people to do, to come together and unify and let somebody else uh, tell you what's up. Let me see if I can get this phone to. Yeah, let's get this open. I'm the one that's telling you this. When I tell you you're not a black American, you're an African. And until you realize that, that is when you will wake up and see the situation that you're really in. That's just you're just being defeated, and you're banking on a country. You can't run the government. You don't have any real say so as far as voting is concerned. That's just a big lie. And the country is basically run by 90 plus white senators that can override the president. And these guys have no term limits. So unless you're going to jump up and go after them in a revolution type of deal, America is not going to change. It's only going to get worse. So there was a guy that came on and was telling me about in the news I'm in, there was this issue of I think it was the terrorist attack he was going over. And I was explaining to him that if you're an African, whatever Trump, he was complaining about was something that Trump said. And I'm like, if you're an African, whatever Trump said doesn't even concern you. You see, the mental conditioning that we have is very deep. And some of us don't really realize that when you watch the news, it is killing you. The number one enemy of black people is mass media, news, and education. And I submit that if you turn the news off and say, I won't watch the news for 3 days, you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Because in reality of it is, because I've turned it off and I know other people have turned off the news. You think like if you don't watch the news, you won't be informed. But 99% of what they talk about in the news is useless to you. It don't really concern your day-to-day life. Oh, here we are in the Middle East. Oh, Saddam Hussein has been hung. Oh, you see Syria. Oh, you see Iran, Iraq. We don't even know no Iraqis. Yet we're there letting that thing take us away, concentration for 15, 20 minutes, making something that seems that's irrelevant to black people seem it's the most important thing. I submit that you drop that news, turn it off, don't watch it for 3 or 4 days, and see how well you start to feel, how much better you will feel, how less depressed you will be. And use that time to watch educational videos or videos about Africa, and that's what I'm saying. The typical American news is entertainment, sports, and weather. And it's laughable. Yes, man, exactly. And this is part of the reasons I'm saying the things that we need to really, some of us need to do to break away. You're just saying like that's a far thing for me to go to Africa. This I'm tired of listening to you because I'm gonna go there for another 5 years. You never know. If you just break away from your regular habits, you might really change your mind, because it's only a stigma that they put in front of us. So I submit to you that you pull away from the news, give it a week, Stop watching that NBC. You know, NBC comes on TV. You know, I have to. So I'm watching the beginning of the NBC, NBC, whatever else, and they come on, breaking news, and shit, they're not talking about nothing that affects Black Americans, particularly. You know, I want to hear breaking news. African Americans are congregating in California, ready to march on the state capitol. The news, yeah, now that's news, but you never really get that. It could happen, and they won't even put it in the news. It could happen that blacks organize and go march on state capitol, and then the powers that be don't put it in the news. They put something else. I tell you, the number one enemy of the black man, I've been saying this for years, number one enemy of the black man is Western mass media, propaganda, news, entertainment, and sports. And you want to say the weather too, but shoot, I don't know about the weather. That's just crazy. If half of what they say on the weather is true, I don't even understand why people was there. You know, talking about this my country, and you got snow in California. Damn. Kwame Asante, no dog in the fight, but the only one who can show leadership and bring out black folks is Farrakhan, like him or not. Okay, I see where you are with the Farrakhan situation, and I've been following Farrakhan since the 1980s, and I was actually training FOI soldiers in the nation, and you know, Farrakhan had in those days. Farrakhan used to put out cassette tapes when cassettes were out, and he had a lot of messages, and I used to get them all. I had a big box for Farrakhan's. But over the years, from the 1980s up to today, his message is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But when the nation was running under Elijah Muhammad, they were like number one producers of fish. They had businesses all through Chicago. They were a very big force. But now fast forward 80, 90, 2000s to where they are today. Farrakhan's son marries a white lady. Farrakhan tells you to follow a white man, L. Ron Hubbard. Farrakhan lets Mexicans and whites into the mosque. You see, it's not what it used to be. You can just see that when you go into the message, it's one thing, and he's good at giving you the message, but in action, he doesn't. Well, like I say, Farrakhan will give you a great message, and you'll want to go follow him. And what he does is take the most militant black man, take the gun out of his hand, and put a bean pie in it. And then about 3-4 years, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years, but about a certain amount of years, you come to realize that it's not supporting you. And one by one, brothers just move out of the nation. It is not, it is a fraction of his former self. So when we come down to Farrakhan and he had the Million Man March, he didn't get directed to anything helping black people. So I was in an organization called the Black Freedom Fighters Coalition, and we worked alongside of the FOI, and those guys were not serious. When it came down to, if you know, when they had the Rodney King riots, the Nation of Islam was told to stay indoors. Don't come out in the riots at all. So you didn't see anything about Farrakhan and the FOI getting with the brothers, on the ground level. So I know I'm just saying the facts. You can go back and check them for yourself. But if you just meet Farrakhan and start reading this message, it's very powerful, and you can get a lot of good information. But the action doesn't mark the reality of what he's doing. Now, Farrakhan did a video, and I had it. I don't know where it is now, where he was asked about Africa, and he just arrogantly said, "I ain't never advocated going to Africa." Just, arrogant to this day. He was supposed to be finding a homeland in America or outside of America, and they never did neither one of those. That was the mandate of the Nation of Islam. So you tell me, and that's that is my point on Farrakhan. Now, I'm not dishing Farrakhan. I know you're ready. You get mad when I'm telling you this, but I'm telling you, I'm in a unique position that I've been seeing this for 30, 40 years and following it along from a black conscious point of view. And I'm explaining it to you like this. Now, you're going to take 30 years before you come to the realization and say, God damn, that Amin Ra was right. Or you can say, like, let me just go check this guy says and see if it's true. And then you find that you will save yourself a lot of time and effort. And when Farrakhan talks, you can see him, bro. And thank you. If there's anyone who knows the real freedom, yeah, even if it's thank you. Farrakhan suggests blacks stay in America and build, not in Africa. Okay, Larry J. Blige, yeah, exactly. Farrakhan, you know, if that was the goal of the Nation of Islam, how come Southside Chicago is still on fire? All that he couldn't even save the Southside Chicago. That's only 20 minutes from the headquarters of the Nation of Islam. Seems like that would be a fight you could go out and win and be impressive, but they have no interest in that. They're there trying to find L. Ron Hubbard instead of trying to help the brothers in Southside Chicago. Just check it out for yourself. Don't get mad at me. Ask man, the majority of people in prison in America are black, although whites are the majority. Then your voting rights are denied. Can't get a job. Blacks in America have the worst health outcomes. And this is what I'm saying. If you're in situations, and there are many brothers, I get brothers here talking about I'm a felon, I can't get my passport, and I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. And it's a sad thing, but if you get in these kind of situations, and these people that's in prison are the sons of somebody. Those are somebody's kids. And what are the parents doing? While their kid is in prison, just quiet. If you got all these kind of problems in the US, it makes no sense to stay. You can get your hustle on in Africa and build yourself up. Schools in the inner city have less funding and resources and lower quality teachers. The education in Kenya is far better than the United States. It's basically simple. And there are a lot of schools out there that need teachers and support. You can get into a school. They may not pay you a salary because I told you it's about the hustle. They might say, okay, if you do this, we can give you this amount of money and this, that, and you just say, okay. There's no application form to sign or, employment contract or anything like that. This is not Africa. Africa is not like that in many areas. So I know I'm saying this in a low voice, but I just want you to understand this thing of trying to compare Africa with American eyes is just not going to work. And I only mentioned him on the question of leadership. No leadership because Farrakhan's leadership has no results unless you can show me. As we have no one who, at the moment, the government is infiltrating any group with 5 people in it, any black group. You're now called a black extremist. I don't know if you saw the article and what they were discussing about that. Now they got this thing where the FBI is labeled black extremist group, so they gave them the mandate to go to any group and infiltrate it and spy on it. You see, so we don't have what we had in back in the 70s with the counter protocol is still in effect today. They do give passports to felons and ex-offenders? Somebody tell me it's true, because I've been seeing a lot of brothers coming to me with that story, and I don't know what to tell them. But this is uh, this is a damn shame. And I'm saying it in a calm voice, but ADOS, to Creek, Jason Black, Boyce Watkins, you know, these guys, Dr. Omar John, these guys are failing us because they keep making the mandate be in the United States, and they're acting like the black community is there and growing, or it's there and we can fix it. It's not the case, man. So at the end of the day, what you're going to get is simply the same thing: a failed attempt, and then you'll be stuck somewhere trying to start all over again. Thank you for the issue on the camera. I'm using the laptop, but we're getting 4G, so we're making it work. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about too is about the 7-day exploratory trip. Very much on. The last I checked, we had the numbers that we wanted, but now to get people to sign in on the online information form, we're getting struggles with that. You know, our people are like that. Now they're taking time. Oh man, I'm going to do it today, you know, and then they don't do it. And this information is vital for us to continue moving forward with the trip. It's very stressful dealing with Black people and money. So, you know, I'm on it every day, dealing with these different things, you know. And Phil Scott came up with a couple days ago, did a live show about another Kenyan trip that's going to be happening in October. And I think that trip is about $6,000. And people were wondering, how could I do a trip for $19.99? And these guys, you know, well, to be honest, these are two different type of trips. You know, that is a high class trip. I think they're staying at the Kapaski Hotel in Nairobi, which is the most expensive hotel in Nairobi. You know, and so I'm dealing with the group that says, look, we don't have a lot of money to spend, and we want an economy class we can get to Africa and not have to, you know, spend a lot of money. And that is the group that I'm dealing with. Now, you're not going to stay at the Kapaski Hotel, but you will stay at probably a 4-star or 5-star. But you're not going to be able to go through and see the, you know, the dancers, you know, the traditional dance. You know, what happens after they finish dancing. And what tribe is that dance for? And, you know, they beat the African drums. We're not dragging you back to the traditional days of Africa. I'm saying we're far from that. Modern Africa is what I'm about, not what happened in, you know, following these traditional things. You know, you want to get the feel of the traditional African, that's fine. But I'm not for that. I'm here like right now. It's like there's the United States and there is Kenya. And I have all the information I need to know about the United States, but I don't have any on Kenya. And this trip is going to give me the information I need to know to say, okay, now I have a better view of Africa. So the trip is not for profit. I'm not trying to make money off of the trip. That's another thing. That's why one of the reasons why the price is so low. And you guys, when they were talking about that, I was like on the calculations. But as soon as we get the people to fill out the online booking forms, we can start bring out the itinerary, which we're still working with. And then we got the bank account where people can start paying their payments. We're pretty much on schedule, except for the brothers and sisters out there taking their time. And like I said, this takes a lot of energy from me on top of my normal hustles, as I can now say. And that's what it's just all about, you know. I look at my life today, and people are saying, I mean, you know, you live a poor life. And I'm like, I'm not. I just started this video thing some months back, you know. I didn't expect people to come to my house and sit in my living room, you know, and then talk to me, you know. I don't have my living room wasn't designed for that. It was just for my kids and my family to have a comfortable place to sit and talk and play, you know. I'm not the one that gonna make the classic dining room table with the chairs and beautiful pictures on the wall and all that. When the guests come over, they be like, "Oh, this is great! Wow, this guy." No, I ain't the one. My house is comfortable and it's just like that. So, maybe you would have caught me 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now I was like, had big money everywhere I went, and I could go anywhere, do anything, go. It was crazy. But now I'm older, and the one thing I want to do is be able to pay all my bills off, and I'm slowing down. The hustle in me is slowing down, and if I see like I'm needing some extra money, I'm gonna get on my high horse and hustle some more and make money. Lance Kelly, field trip is too expensive in my humble opinion. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that. I won't say that it's expensive. I'm just saying that it's for a different class of people. And I have always told you I can't help myself. I'm always the one to try to save money. And even in my businesses, I'm always looking at I do my business. I like to have a low price. I don't want nobody undercutting me. I'm start selling oranges, and I'm selling them for 20 shillings. And then I'm getting some good customers, and then all of a sudden, here comes Grandma so and so with a big, and she just undercut me. You know what I mean? I've had that happen, and I don't like it. So one of the things I do, I give American prices. I give the Kenya prices, the best, the lowest, the quality. When somebody say, "Why should I buy your oranges at 20 shillings and not Grandma's at 15?" I can tell you that my oranges are orange, hers are green. Now, what do you want to do? You can see for yourself. I can talk, but I've always been that way. So when it came to do this trip, I started out trying to be, have a nice trip. Everybody going to be impressed with the nice hotel rooms and and the quality of this and that. Then I was like, it wasn't in me to put high class things there, and just for the sake that you stayed in the most expensive hotel in Kenya. I'm going by the fact that they're saying that most black people are living from paycheck, tax refund, and they can get on this trip and come back. It's a trip of a lifetime, and won't cost them a lot of money. So we'll see if people appreciate it or not. I know I can come here and guarantee nothing. It's only when the trip is over in May that you guys are going to come out and say, "Hey, the trip was nice. This is what happened. I got pictures," or I'm in that trip, that hotel room. Oh, the food was this and that, uh, but that's our people. I'm expecting some to say great and some to say nay. I'm ready for that. But overall, I know that if they come up and they start talking about the eggs were too cold, then I know that that's not a big argument. Heat them eggs up again and eat them. Yes, man, nothing's wrong with the way you're living. Best to live as cheap as possible. Okay, see, the word cheap is the issue now, because I don't really live cheap. I live like I don't know. I got it's African style. I can't explain it. It ain't gonna be like better homes and gardens. you know, I look at my neighbors' houses, and we're right in the middle. Some of them even have brand new couches and brand new dining room sets, and they never eat on them. So I'm like, what for? That's the kind of person I am at this age. So I wouldn't say it's cheap, but I wouldn't say that I would be here looking for laps of luxury. We've been all through that with Eva and I. So really, we just want to be able to have money in our pockets and have not to be worrying about our bills. And knock on wood, I'm able to do that and continue. And speaking of that, if you guys, can I have the thingy? GM, I know what you mean. I got a crib over there. Okay. Yeah, you're not trying to impress people, but we have that mentality because we watch a lot of these, music videos that that take us to see, like, people making it rain. And I kind of did a very good point, made a good point on that, talking about in America they do these music videos and then they go home with an Uber, and in Nigeria they do the movies and they go home with those same cars, those Bentleys. So if you want, like what we're saying here, and we know we need to have the people support the channel, don't forget us. Uh, this is how we do it. WorldRemit.com. Even if you're watching this video at a later time, you can also still, don't be sneaking away like, aha, this is not, I didn't get it live, so I don't have to pay. Don't be like that. Surprise us with a few dollars of support. And this video, I just came on because I still am trying to break this down into a way you can try to understand it. And I promise that I'm gonna have one ready in a couple of days. But I'm telling you, in January, right now, especially coming next week, we're gonna be very busy around here. So I want you guys to bear with me if I miss a day on the video. Maybe me and my wife can come in the summer. She is in school. She's a school teacher. Now that's what I'm saying, Mississippi 4589. What? I forgot. Who is this now? Remind me of the name of your name, because I know you well, and then you didn't tell me. You confused me with that number. But yeah, that's how you start. Kind of think about it, and you see that what it could be possible. Now on this trip that we're doing, I think the majority of people are coming as couples. I think we got like 6 couples coming. Hey, I'm in Ryan, my bro, of whom I have responsible capital and upspring more capital grounds will come to take in on any U.S. expat. If you can help, please do it. If you can't, then thanks. I and my bro, of whom have a responsible income or upspring or come capital grounds. Okay, I'm not getting the whole point of what you're saying. What can you maybe rewrite that? But we're going to be really busy coming up into the month of January. Now, what's the time? Oh, 50 minutes. Hey, okay, now I can get off. Evalyne is here. The queen has come. How are you, my dear? Yeah, Brian Gully. Yeah. Brian, thank you for the support that you sent the other day. And Ashley Lorian also, of course, Duran Tate. You guys are essentially keeping this channel moving forward. And I really appreciate that support. The rest of you guys, we need you guys to get serious now. You want to support, but you just keep like ducking. Don't duck. Do your one-time diligence. When we do the trip, you're gonna see a lot of great things happening. So yeah, it's we're living within your means, and we have to. A lot of brothers in America, they try to tie success with how much money you make, but the big joke is we don't have money, and a lot of blacks try to fake rich. You know what I mean? And it's a sad commentary to a situation that is not our fault. There is hidden hands out there that are keeping us down as a people in the United States. And I know when I say these things, some of you guys are like, against me. But in reality, you know what's up. Stop faking rich. Look at your whole situation. Drop out on how your bills are, and you may never be able to pay off all those bills. So what do? You see, I say you consolidate them into one big payment, put them in some bank account somewhere, come to Africa, do your hustle, throw 50 shillings every month to show that you're trying, and nobody can really get at you, because the bills in the United States are not going to follow you in Kenya. Well, remember, when you're in Kenya, you're not paying petrol bills, you're not paying light bills. All your time is and efforts are being now switched into Africa. So it's only a matter of reducing those bills as opposed to adding more and more of them, adding more on top of them. And if you have a monthly income, you're getting a monthly check, that's definitely this is definitely something you should look into when you get a chance. Okay, so we're gonna get this video less than an hour, and let me see. Let me go back here. It's painful sometimes watching all of the videos of our people being oppressed in the country. They have made so famous being all that energy here in the Africa, and they bow to us. 6,500 for 12 days is a ripoff. Okay, I won't get into that. Like I said, I don't think it's a ripoff. I think it's just a whole nother class of people. I'm going to back up here. The weather. Somebody tell me, how's the weather right now? Is it sunny outside? Because I heard it was snowing in California. So let us finish up here. And global warming, yeah. Let us finish up here. And please remember to like and subscribe. If you not like the video, please like and subscribe the video. And know that we want to give out a lot of information. I see there's 25 of you in the group, in the chat room. Wow. So thank you guys for coming on. We're going to do another video in a few days. And don't forget to put your comments in the comment section. I think you guys know I usually answer all comments if you have any questions for me. So until we meet again, this is Amon Ross saying peace.